This is a tutorial showing you how to use the retirement plan. My name is Catherine from Freedom Kitty and Transformation Helper. When you load up either the Excel spreadsheet or the Google Sheets spreadsheet, you will see two tabs. The first one is the blank template retirement plan, and the second one is the example retirement plan. This example retirement plan is my example, so you can show where I put my figures in to get to the numbers that I did. And I've also recorded a much longer video that walks you through why I've put these figures where I've put them. So that will help you if you watch that longer video there. But for now, what I recommend you do is make a copy of the blank template retirement plan so that if you make any mistakes or something goes wrong, you've always got a copy to go back to. So if you go to duplicate, you right click on the bottom and you go to duplicate, it will give you a copy of the blank template retirement plan. You can also go back to your files where you bought them and get the original, but I recommend that you make a copy here and just work from the copy, and every time you want to change something, make another copy so you've always got the original to go back to. So what you do is you type in the numbers anywhere where there is a white cell. Anywhere that there is a coloured cell, that means that there's a calculation that's automatically done for you. There's formulas in here, so don't type over the formulas. If you type over them, then this will no longer work. If you accidentally type over something, click on the undo button and that will put it back to how it was. Hopefully you'll notice if you accidentally type over something. On Google Sheets, it will automatically save as you're going through, so you'll have to undo any changes. And if you're on Excel, once you click the save button, it will be too late to undo the changes. So don't click save if you've made some kind of mistake and you've typed over the coloured cells. So I'm going to walk you through how to use the spreadsheet. If you want a more in-depth version, go and watch my longer video. Whatever funds you invest in, you will get previous history that show you how it's previously performed, and you can type in the percentage here. The fund that I personally invest in is called the FTSE Global All Caps, and I buy my funds on Vanguard platform, but you can buy these on different platforms. And previously it has shown that this current index fund has returned an average of 10%. This is only an average. Stock markets go up and down, so in the next 2 years it could go down, then after that it could go back up again. There is no guarantees, but you do know that it definitely will go up and down, that is certain. So this spreadsheet is only a guidance, it's just a plan. It can't predict the future. We can only look at past data to get a rough estimate of the average. The longer you're investing for, the more reliable this prediction will be. The shorter time frame you're using, the less reliable this will be. So I recommend having a plan B for when the markets fall, because they will fall. But in the past, they have always gone back up again. So this is why we have an average figure. So you type in your average figure here. You type in whatever inflation you want to put there, or you can leave it at what I've put, 2.8%. And then it calculates the real growth. So it takes the stock market growth minus the inflation and gives you the real growth of your investments. The withdrawal rate is up to you. There have been many models that have shown that if you withdraw 4% of your investments per year, then your investments should continue to grow and last for your full lifetime. If you increase the withdrawal rate, your money will run out more quickly. So it depends how long you want your money to last. I put my withdrawal rate at higher than 4%. I personally put it at 6% because my expenses are very low, and I know that when I get to state retirement age, my state pension will cover my expenses. So I don't need my investments to last for my full lifetime. So I put my withdrawal rate higher. However, I would like them to last for the full lifetime in case there's some kind of emergency, or to pass on the investments to my children. So I don't make this extremely high. It's also less risky the lower this percentage is. The next figure that you type in is if you have a work-based pension, what your personal employee contribution is. And if you're not sure, you can ask your workplace for this information. Usually it's 5% and 3%. And then you type in what your employer contributes underneath here. Then you type in your annual salary before deductions. Next you type in the current year and your current age in the white cells only, and the rest of the information will pre-populate all the way down here. The first section is adding to investments. This is how much you're going to contribute to your investments. As you've already put in what your percentage contributions are to your work-based pension, this is automatically calculated for you. Most people have a work-based pension and don't have any other form of investments, but if you also have a private pension called a SIPP, you can put in here what you expect to contribute every single year into your SIPP, what you think you are going to save into your investments. You can also save into a stocks and shares ISA. This is not a cash ISA because we are only looking at investments and investments growth. So it has to be a stocks and shares ISA. A maximum of 20,000 per year. So how much will you put into your ISA every single year? Once you've maxed out your ISA per year and you've contributed up to your current salary into your SIPP and your workplace pension combined, if you've got extra money to add in, then you'll need to put it into a GIA, a general investment account. So you can add in here how much money you're going to be adding in to your GIA every single year. Now it automatically calculates your total contributions to your investments every single year. So it's showing us that we contribute 20,000 into investments every year based on what we've added into the work-based pension, the SIPP, the ISA and the GIA. Now we move on to the spending section. How much money are you going to spend per year? So you type in how much you're going to spend, and if you want to easily copy this figure down to all of the other cells, you can click on it, move your mouse to the bottom right hand corner until you see the dot. Your cursor will change to a cross. Hold your left mouse button down and drag it all the way down to the bottom. The next column automatically calculates your gap. This is your income minus your spending. But because we haven't typed in our income yet, this gap is showing minus 20,000 because we are spending 20,000. So this will be the case when we stop working. We will no longer be having that income, and the next column tells us how much we need to draw from investments. So it's saying that we need to draw £20,000 from investments every single year to meet our annual spending. The next section is investments. This is your investment pot. Now, if you have any current investments, you need to type them in here in the white cell. So how much is currently in your work-based pension? Type it in here. How much do you currently have in your SIPP? Type it in here. How much is there in your ISA? Type it in here. And how much is in your GIA? Type it in there. And what happens next is it automatically calculates what each of these investment pots are going to grow by or shrink by every single year. So what this does is it adds on the amount you are contributing to your investments every single year, and it also adds on the growth. So it grows by two amounts, what you add in and what it grows by. So this is each individual pot, and then the next column is your total investment. So it adds them up and tells you how much you've got in your total investments. The next column tells you how much it has changed every single year, how much it has risen or fallen by. The next column tells you how much you could withdraw from your investments based on your withdrawal rate. So this is the most important column. This tells you when you can retire. So what you need to know is you need to know how much you are going to be spending every single year. If you don't yet know how much you're going to be spending, I suggest that you use my finance, income and expenses tracker to start recording your income and expenses, and you can also go back in time and do it for the previous year to see how much you spent last year, and that will give you an indication of how much you spend per year. So in this example, we need £20,000 to cover our annual expenses. So what we do is we look down on this column until the amount is equal to or greater than our expenses. So we can see here, at this point, the amount that we can withdraw from investments is £21,602. So this is the place where it's equal to or greater than 20,000. So this is the age and the year that we can retire early. So if you go across and you have a look, it tells you here that you could retire in 2033, aged 53. This will change based on your withdrawal rate. So you can play around with your withdrawal rate. You can play around with the stock market growth in case it doesn't grow as you expected. And if you want to change the inflation, you can change that as well. The next column tells you how much you would have left in your investments at that withdrawal rate after your expenses have been paid. So because you can take out 21,000, you only need 20,000 for your expenses, so you would have 1,600 left, so you could actually use that for other things. The next column is your annual income, where you type in your income. So you start by typing in your salary take-home pay. So this is the amount after all deductions, after all tax, after pension contributions, what you actually take home, what you get in your bank account every single year. So because we could retire at age 53, I'm going to mark that down as the retirement age, and I'm going to say that I'm only going to earn money until that year. I'm not going to put down a side hustle, but if you have any other income, you can put it down here. And we're going to put down the state pension. So this person can start claiming their state pension at age 65. So you scroll down until you see age 67. So you scroll down until you see age 67. And then here you can type in what your state pension is going to be. So you can find out what your personal state pension is going to be, and you should get this for the rest of your life. So you can drag this all the way down to the bottom. And the next few columns are showing you what you will need to take out of your investments to make up the gap in your spending. So to show you how this works, let's scroll back to our spending. So now that we've put in our income, this looks very different over here. So we can see for the first few years, while we're still working, we don't need to draw any money from our investments. It's saying you don't need any money, zero. But as soon as we retire, we suddenly need £20,000 from our investments. So we're going to have to draw that from investments. But when we get down to state pension age, because we are taking out our full state pension, we only need to find £7,500 from our investments. So this is what we need to type in the column over here. So we need to find £20,000. So where are we going to take this money from? So let's have a look at our pots and see which are the best pots to take the money from. It looks like the work-based pension is the highest. But the thing is, we can't access the work-based pension until aged 57. So for a few years, we're going to have to use the ISA money until aged 57. Now let's see if we've got enough money in the ISA. So we'll go over here and we're going to type in where the money is going to come from. So it used to come from our salary, but now we've retired, or we think we're going to retire at this age, and this is the purpose of the spreadsheet. We're going to put that we're going to take out our £20,000 from our ISA. And we're going to do this until age 57, until we can get our pension. So let's have a look at the ISA pot of money now. So the ISA was growing. It was going up to 40, 50, 60 grand, 70 grand, 80 grand. And then when we retire, we start drawing this down, and we draw it down and down and down. It goes from 70 to 50 to 40 to 20, and it's almost depleted. But say you didn't have that much in your ISA, you would need a plan B. You would need to put more money into your ISA and less money into your SIP. So you wouldn't be able to retire early unless you had enough money in your ISA to cover you until you were age 57. So then we can switch from taking out from the ISA, and then we'll switch to the work-based pension. So we'll start taking out 20 grand from the work-based pension, and we will do this every year until we get the state pension. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. So the work-based pension has started going down and down and down, and that gets as low as 15 grand. So there's only 15 grand left in the work-based pension. But it's okay because we've still got 447,000 in total investments. So we need to look at every single individual pot, and we need to look at the total investments to make sure it's going to cover us throughout that period of retirement. And then when we get our state pension, we only need to find £7,500 from this year onwards. So where are we going to take this from? I think we'll start taking it from the SIP at this point. But we need to do this for the rest of our life. So is this going to make a difference to the retirement if we do this for a long time? So let's have a look at our total pot. Our total investments at age 67 actually still keep going up. We've got enough of the pot that taking out 7,500 doesn't make that much of a dent, and it still keeps on rising, thankfully. So we've got enough in the pots. And even though we're taking money out of the SIP from age 67, it still keeps on rising because we've got enough money in there that it's just compounding faster than we can take the money out, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to leave this in the Google Sheet so you can see the example I used in this video. Example 1 retirement plan is this made up amount. Example 2 is my own figures. My figures are a lot lower, so if you're like me and you've got less money to play with, then this is a more realistic example for you. So remember to make a copy, right-click, duplicate before you start changing anything. If you've got any questions, let me know. I will get back to you. If there are any problems, I will do my best to fix them. If it doesn't work, remember, make another copy and try again. Thank you so much for your purchase, and I wish you all the best with your early retirement. You can follow me on Freedom Kitty YouTube channel to see whether I reach my own goals for early retirement. And I'm showing you every step along the way. Have an amazing day. Take care. Bye bye.